guys, sorry for the delay today.
Okay, I'll be quiet.
Today we're going to cover the southwest area of America. We skipped around from Europe, if you remember. We're going to do American regional cuisine. So if you look on your first page, we're going to go over a couple of facts and figures. Southwest is a term used to incorporate the states of Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. This flamboyant meaning, typically when you have like a southwestern cuisine, you have an expectation of like a nice spice, like a heavy heat, but it's not like you're not going to lose the flavor of the meat that you're cooking or anything else because of that pepper. So the pepper is like the chili pepper, which I'll discuss later on, is first and foremost in this cuisine because it's based upon Mexican and the in Spanish culture. Okay, so when you talk about southwestern cuisine, you want to take that Spanish and Mexican cuisine, and Native Americans kind of like use American ingredients to incorporate that to our culture. So it's kind of like a mixing of a couple different cultures, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Southwesterners love barbecue, which we can do today. Their ancestors learned from about the early Spanish settlers. They themselves had learned from the American Indians of the Southwest and Mexico. Indigenous foods include wild game and fowl, particularly rabbit. Down there. Fish is widely used, such as shrimp, crab, tuna, and abalone. All types of vegetables are used, such as peppers, onions, tomato, and corn. Traditional foods include chili. Typical chili, if you know real chili, doesn't include any fillers like bean. It's basically beef stewed in a meat sauce. So basically, today when I make this, it's kind of like a large cut of a chili. So traditionally, if you want a chili in Southwestern cuisine, they don't have beans or fillers. It's meat in a hot pepper sauce. But I'm going to tone it down for you guys so it doesn't burn too much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tacos, enchiladas, barbecue, stews, and the wide use of beans and corn. Traditional meals may include corn tortilla soup, Santa Fe chili soup, grilled fajitas with salsa crew. Salsa crew is just like a raw salsa. It's tomato, peppers, onions, maybe a touch of olive oil, obviously a chili pepper. Sauteed rabbit loin with black beans, beef, braised brisket, and barbecue sauce, which we will make it today. Poached red snapper Veracruz, and the mixed vegetable burrito. The cuisine of the southwestern United States compromises a fusion of recipes for things that have been eaten by Spanish and colonial settlers, cowboys, Native Americans, and Mexicans throughout the post-Columbian area. After exploration, obviously, we have a lot of foods that weren't indigenous to the country, so they use that and incorporate the American cuisine. There is, however, a great diversity in this kind of cuisine throughout the southwestern states. Cuisine is similar to Mexican cuisine, but often involves larger cuts of meat, namely pork and beef, and less use of, that's a misspelling, means tripe, the lining of the cow's stomach, brain, and other organ meats that are not seen as desirable in the U.S. So typically you would use in Mexico or in Spanish culture a lot of organ meats, not desirable here. So we typically use their recipes and their preparations and substitute the meats that we like, and that makes that Southwestern cuisine. As with Mexican cuisine, Southwestern cuisine is largely known for its use of spices, particularly the chili. New Mexican cuisine is known for its dedication to the chili, most notably the Hatch chili, named for the city in New Mexico where they are grown. Part of New Mexican cuisine is smothering the dish with either red or green chili or both. Mixing both is referred to as Christmas. That's why I'm doing it this month, because I have a combination in the sauce of some red and green chilies, actually the chipotle chili. It's referred to Christmas because we're doing red and green chili. So, the New Mexican cuisine is popular in Colorado and Utah as well. Texas has a version Tex-Mex cuisine, while Arizona's style of Southwestern cuisine is called Sonoran. So if you go to the next page, this is kind of a barbecue sauce I devised myself. So if you look, traditional barbecue sauce, I have, in this particular sauce, I make the sauce separate. What I want to do is braise my meat of choice in that barbecue sauce, which I'll show you in a little bit. So typically I'm going to use, if you look, actually after the recipe, instead of showing you, I can show you a picture of the cow right here. Right there. So look at the brisket. So everybody had corned beef brisket. Basically English use it to corn it. They use a lot of salt, vinegar. We can use the raw brisket right here. Basically the breast of the cow. If I was like, standing like this, it'd be kind of like right here. Widely used. So the best case scenario is to braise it because it's a widely used muscle, but you have a nice fat cap on the side. So what happens is a lot of this fat and the juices render in your sauce. It makes it a very rich sauce. So what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to use this one part right here. Put this down here, Get rid of a lot of the residual fat on top. I want some of it because the fat's going to be a lot of flavor. So what I'm using right now is kind of like the point, what they call the point of the brisket. A lot more lean than the most of it, so I removed a lot of residual fat, but I need some of that for sauteing and to go into my sauce as well. So I'm going to do right here. Obviously a little salt and pepper. I'm going to be liberal with this, so. Now what I'm going to do is get the oil to the smoky point in the pan. We talked about this a couple times. A lot of times the flavor from your braised stew is going to come because you caramelized the meat, which you're going to do right now. If I poach this, it'll be kind of bland. What I want to do is now put this in like a nice smoking hot pan. I want to sear the outside of those proteins on either side. And I'll put it on the side, add it to my sauce, because what you do is you're creating 100 different compounds on the surface of that meat. Like pork has a different flavor, fish does, but beef does too. So once I caramelize that, it has like that nice color, flavor, and texture that you're not going to get if you poached it in a liquid medium. Thanks, Chris. By the way, it's my sister. She's helping me out today.
Hi. How long do you leave it on for?
But if you're looking for like a browning of the outside of the meat, depending on your heat, I want to make sure the outside of those proteins are caramelized. You want to look like a nice golden brown color. The French call it doré. It's a nice brown color. Not burnt, obviously, but nice and brown. What I'm going to do now, going for that, nice and lightly golden brown. Put this on the side. And best this is you. Put this right here. So now I'm going to proceed with the sauce. If you go back to the sauce recipe, real easy. That's where we'll put the butter in that pan, it'll be good.
You want to put down
Yep.
before?
That'll be great.
Okay.
So look at the recipe first. 1.5 cups of butter. I normally make this barbecue sauce for like chicken or fish or something like that. You can do it with fish too as well. But because the fact is that brisket has so much fat in it, I cut that butter in half for this recipe because I want to render a lot of that beef fat to flavor my sauce. I don't want to have like a big fat cap when I serve that. But fat is flavor, but I don't want to inundate it with too much fat. I want to have the flavor of all the other ingredients behind it. So basically for this recipe, if you can use a brisket, cut that butter in half, which we're going to do today. Okay? Minced onion and minced garlic. I think we talked this before, I'll show you a little bit. When you're doing a mince on an onion, it means you want little tiny cubes. So after you cut the root end and the blossom end off, in a second, remove the outer papery layers. So I'm going to mince this. So I want to keep this root end intact. You see the roots? What that does is this. If I want to slice it, I would make a nice V cut like that and get rid of that root. And I progressively go down like that, it'll be separated, no problem. But I want that root end to hold this because After I make my cuts like this, I'm going to turn it and make little cubes out of it. That root end's going to hold all the slices intact. So if I get rid of that, all these slices will be falling apart right now. So now it gives me stability so I can go in like that, and then get your dice up like that. Thanks, Mom.
Right, it is beautiful.
This is the final cut to separate them. Onions are nice too because sometimes you see on TV they'll take an onion and they'll slice it and go transverse like this. You really don't need to because the way they're made, they're already made in layers anyway. So when you do that, you're kind of like messing it up a little bit. So you have actually more uniformity if you don't do that transverse cut before you do the dice. I prefer not to. These are the garlic cloves. First you just smash them. That. Add a little salt, like a nice paste. What the salt does is immediately adds a granular texture, but it also helps to break it down so on a fine paste. So like right now I can feel my knife grating on the salt right there. So what that does is kind of like digging into each clove. It makes it easier for me to cut it and make a nice fine paste. Melted? Sweet.
Yeah, almost done.
Just a little bit. There we go. Then use the side of the knife as your tool. Keep on pressing the juices out, make it finer. Obviously, you always go like this, so you don't cut your hands. There we go.
It's ready.
So at this stage of the game, the only really raw ingredient in the sauce recipe would be the onions and the garlic. So we're gonna add the onions first. Onions you can caramelize, good concentration of sugar, but we're not looking for that really. So I'm gonna add the onions first to get rid of some of the moisture, some of the rawness. If I add the garlic first, then the onions, this would burn, and the sauce would be gone. You can't get rid of that burnt flavor. I always add, if you have any recipe calls for like a saute, even if you're doing like a mirepoix, for like a roast or something like that, you want to pre-caramelize it, always add garlic last, because if you add that first, you're going to lose the flavor first of all, but even if you have a low temperature, it will burn and your sauce is done. You can't get rid of that bitterness, you got to start over again. That's beautiful. Perfect. Here's we go, here's a little salt and pepper. Yes. Let's crank it up. Keep that hot. I'm going to solder this a little bit, add a little bit of the garlic, and so it's a nice little temperature. Now, if you refer to your recipe, it's really easy, pre-measured. From this point in time, get the ingredients special, then you let that go for a little bit. I'll cook it by itself. Add the molasses with your spatula and your ketchup in the pan. So I'm doing a separate thing
This pan.
right here. So I'm going to caramelize these separately. If I put them in the sauce, all the moisture that I'm trying to get rid of would be part of the sauce. I don't want that. I want to concentrate the onion and the garlic flavor, so I'm going to do this separately and add them as it's coming to a simmer. And actually, I bet you can add the rest of most of the ingredients right now.
Good help.
Molasses, ketchup, light brown sugar, Worcestershire, country style Dijon mustard. I like that because it's very granular. There's a little flavor to it. Cider vinegar I like because of the fruitiness of it, and chipotle chili powder. Chipotle is, everybody knows jalapeno pepper? Take jalapeno pepper and dry it, and you smoke it. And that's chipotle pepper. Okay? That's all it is, really. So you'll find out in a lot of Southwestern cuisine, like a lot of the fresh peppers take on a different name. Like poblano pepper, which is in our rice today. It's a fresh green pepper, but if you dry that, it becomes an ancho. So they changed the name for the processing of the pepper. Pasilla is also known as a chalaca, things like that. So you'll find different nomenclature like that. black pepper, salt, and 2 cups of good bourbon, if there's any left for cooking. That's my liquor of choice. So we'll do that. Any questions? No? So basically what I did, I want to really concentrate on the sauce because the sauce is basically the highlight of this particular dish. You could have done it, you could have braised chicken thighs in it, you could have done pork loin, pork tenderloin, I think I like beef brisket. I love beef, it's my good meat. Basically what I did is after the sauce is done, it's actually at the point where it's perfect. I don't want to caramelize, but I want to feel like some translucency where you can kind of see through the onions and the garlic without burning it. Add this, and the particular point now, all the ingredients that you see are listed. The Worcestershire and all the spices are added in the bourbon. So what you do is you let it go for simmer for about 15 minutes, okay? And then after that is done, you're pretty much assured that the onions and the garlic are kind of tenderized and the flavors infused in the sauce, and you finish with the bourbon at the end. Okay, so what I did, basically I have the whole brisket here. I'll show you. What you're kind of looking for is a nice slow braise on this. Looking for like a nice caramelized look on your sauce. So after you sear that meat and it cooks in that sauce for a while, you're kind of looking for something like that, nice and tender. So this is the same kind of cut used for corned beef. Obviously not corn though. It's English use it, a lot of vinegar. Everybody has corned beef for St. Patty's Day. Vinegar, salt, a lot of picking spices. This is just a regular breast cut in half and you just braise it. It's a really good cut of meat. So I'll share it now. And what I did is, like I said before, because the brisket has a big fat cap on it, I left some of it on and cut back the butter in my sauce. I'd rather have the beef fat in my sauce than the butter. You know, if you had that bourbon, you'd drink it.
It's not here, is it?
So what you're looking for is kind of where the grains go. Grains are going out towards you guys, so to get a nice tender cut, if I cut it like this and served you, you have long strings of beef. The whole idea is the brisket is very striated. If you see like a corned beef, you want to cut totally perpendicular as much as you can to the beef. So I know right now the grains are going this way, so it'll be smaller cuts when you go like this. And you see like the line's going this way. So now, I can show you. See, if you see the striations are going down like this. So what I want to do is cut really thin against them because that aids in the tenderness of the meat that you're going to eat. It's sliced really nice now. And then what I did for this dish, basic rice pilaf recipe. A lot of additional ingredients. I use fresh poblano pepper, some roasted corn, basic rice pilaf recipe for a side dish, so you taste that too. What you do is the rice. What you want is sauce there. This my cilantro bit. A little barbecue sauce on the side. And then we got a touch cilantro. And let's pretty much finish it. Wait.
That would be cute.
Oh yeah. It shouldn't be too spicy, but look for nice tomato. I used a raw poblano pepper in this, and also a red chili pepper in this for the Christmas aspect of it. So it should be like hot, a little subtle sweetness in the back of your throat, but high potency, like sweet and sour. Look for it mostly in the meat. So, any questions? Yes.
How many pounds is the meat for this recipe?
I did, okay, for your barbecue recipe right here,
Yeah.
I multiplied that by 4, and I used 20 pounds of brisket. No, I'm sorry. I used 30 pounds of brisket. For this recipe.
6-7 pounds for this recipe?
Yeah. For this recipe, I would use about, you can use up to 10 pounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can. I like to have some on the side.
Yeah.
You know, so follow that recipe. It's like when you find you make that sauce, if you have 10 pounds of brisket, you'll probably have like a good 2 quarts left for service like I'm doing now. So I'd like to bridge because what happens is even though you keep that fat, a little fat in there to flavor the sauce, it gets really fatty, so you want to skim it off. Okay? So I want like a really concentrated sauce to serve on the side because a lot of that flavor is lost in the braising because of the beef juices and the fat that are in there. I like to keep it on the meat when I serve it, but I still want that punch of vinegar and salt and like sweet and sour when you serve it. So I make that sauce, say like about a little bit on the side, and then they braise the sauce and the rest of the beef. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, you had told us how to cook the sauce, but you didn't really explain how to cook the meat or how long to cook the meat in the sauce.
Okay, in the recipe I told you, particularly in the recipe I wrote down, if you use brisket, the reason why I did that because it's the meat of choice. This particular meat, the brisket, after I seared it, I put the brisket in a pan, added my sauce to it, cooked it at 350 for about 3.5 hours.
Okay.
Okay?
And you left a little barbecue sauce on the side
I did.
for later.
Yes. Yeah. If you follow this recipe, save about 1 quarter on the side for service. Yep.
And if you were making a rabbit,
Yes. Much less time. You can braise that in 45 minutes. Chicken thighs.
one rabbit's not gonna feed a family.
No. So cut that barbecue sauce in about, geez, by about 1/4. At least that, yeah. Or just buy more rabbits. Yes.
If you have sauce left over,
Yes.
you can keep it for how long and use it in other
That?
dishes?
Oh, that's good. You can keep that safely, at least 2 weeks in the fridge. I would use it. Yeah. Yep. Some people like to strain the onions out. I particularly don't like it. I like the texture of the onions in it. But
Eric, do you know what we're doing for January?
January? Let me think. We'll stay here. How about Northwest? Little seafood. Is that good? Northwest is good, like the Washington State area. So they're really known for like their salmon or something like that. So maybe I'll do like have a good seafood dish, right? Little seafood stew maybe.
Oh, yeah.
We'll do that.
Awesome.
All right, we'll do that. Some shellfish, like a chapino or like a bouillabaisse or something like that, but like American style. We'll do that. Sounds good.